Welcome to Motivate You, the Winner Circle here. This is 50.com. Your host, June Archer, and I am with the king of independent soul and R&B. If you've heard his music, if you've seen him perform, he needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one. Please welcome to the show, Eric Roberson.
What's
Eric,
good?
what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I appreciate the intro, man. All good.
Listen, I want to ask you, as we have been in this quarantine situation, this is new to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Actually, new to all of us
Right.
who've never experienced anything like this ever. For you, how has you are a very creative person. How has the creative process and making music been during this period of time?
Man, creatively, I've probably been in the best creative space I've ever been at, to be honest with you. You know, I put an album out as soon as the pandemic started. Like I recorded an album as soon as my show started getting canceled. I went right in the studio almost immediately, and we put an album out. You know, a couple weeks after that, called "Here From Here," and it really was like an album about like, yo, we shut down. It wasn't really like, oh, I'm sad. It was more about like, yo, we're gonna get through this and here's some music to like get you through. You know.
Right.
Because really for me, I realized that first of all, art is a service. And in these moments, this is the time that people are stuck at home, people on the front line, people that, you know, are dealing with much heavier work issues, say, than what we are. And we are dealing with a lot, obviously, with the shows getting canceled, stuff like that. They need stuff to take their minds off. So this was the time that I think the DJs would have stepped up, the MCs, the singers, we would have step up and produce music for people to help take their minds off of things. So outside of the album, man, I mean, I've done a ton of songs, not to mention everybody's waking up now. Everybody's waking up to the potential of like, yo, I'm not on the road. I got all these drum machines and keyboards laying around. So now everybody's calling you like, yo, I got this beat I just did. Can you do something? So it's a good community to just help everybody take their minds off of stuff and stay working. But for me, I'm a person who I don't believe in writer's block. I believe that we choose not to write about stuff. And to me right now, in this moment right now, there's more stuff to write about than ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if you write about the fact that you can't write about anything, or you just write about that you can't see anything positive to write about that, you know? So for me, I got, even right now, 50,000 reasons to write a song.
And I love that, E, because here's the thing. I want to translate that into life, right? Some people feel like they get stuck, their blessings get blocked. They're at a fork in the road. And you just said something that's really dope, man. Like, you have something to write about, right? You have something to be grateful for. For those people who are going through something right now, who feel like they got quote unquote writer's block, what is the best piece of advice that you could give them right now, going through what we're going through now in these interesting times?
Find some level of release. You know, if you like, for example, I teach at Berklee College of Music, songwriting. And a lot of my students right now are saying, you know, we getting all these assignments going through writer's block. And I'm like, yeah, you being overly critical about the moment right now. So let's remove the rules and just write. I don't want you to write a song. I want you to make it rhyme. I want you to put it in verse. Just write an essay about the fact that you can't write. How about that? Like, just get in the rhythm of writing. Right. So for me, it's about turning pain to profit. So if you're uncomfortable about something, or you dealing with something, take the same thing that you're dealing with, the pain that you're dealing with. When I say turn to profit, it ain't mean like, yo, sell it, you know, to Beyonce and make some money. Sure, that might be great too, but really just turn it into a good thing. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if I say music is a service, the first person is servicing is me. If I make it, right, it's gonna make me in a better place. So I've often said, if you're going through a tough time, if you don't want to go through a journal or nothing like that, man, one of the greatest exercises I've ever had, let's say, you know, back when I wasn't married and I got through a heartbreak or whatever, write a letter to that person. As soon as you're done, ball it up, just throw it in the trash. And watch if you haven't released a good amount of that. This is the same moment. And this moment of stress and tiredness and everything that you're doing, the main thing I would just tell everybody is that, man, I'm on a perception diet. I'm on a ton of diets right now. I'm on keto. I'm on a whole bunch of stuff. But the number one diet I'm on is a perception diet. And we choose how we see everything.
Okay.
We choose it, right? So the same way I choose not to write this song, I can also choose to write this song. If I choose to say there's a purpose behind this pain. There's a learning lesson behind this pain. If I'm just patient, it don't mean I'm not gonna feel it. If I'm just patient enough, I'm gonna learn the reason. I'm gonna learn the reason for this pain, for this setback, for this moment, you know. And I'm really just listen. I mean, I think God is just constantly nudging us, constantly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, move over, you know. I'm gonna
Right.
shut things down. And you know, obviously we're dealing with much tougher times. We're losing, you know, loved ones and friends and people and such. So I mean, it's a little bit bigger than that. But for you who stuck at home and feeling blocked from what you're trying to do, why? Just take a minute to think why. Don't take them. Get through the pity moment. Oh man, I can't see my friends. Get through that, and after you're done feeling pity for yourself, ask the purpose of it. Why are you home? What are you supposed to be doing right now? And a lot of it might just be, you supposed to rest. You know what I mean? This ain't the time for everybody to write a book, for everybody to album, for everybody to start a sneaker line. You know what I mean? It's not the time for everybody. If you've been sitting in a cubicle and you've been wanting to do something else, and now you're not in that cubicle, it's time to do something else. But for a lot of cats that's been out there hustling and really neglecting the small things, you know, just a simple thing, man. If this pandemic didn't happen, I'd have been gone this summer.
Right. You talking about Capital Jazz Fest? You talking about tours, Blue Note, and everything in between.
Everything in between. And this summer, I mean, I taught my kids how to ride bikes, taught them how to swim. You know, it was a whole thing of like, when I look back, I'm like, yo, we had a really, really, I mean, tough summer, but also a really good summer, you know, like really connecting on different outlets. And that's the part where I said the perception thing is really healthy, man. I would tell everybody, try to work on that as much as possible, even in the tough time, even when you deal with failure. Take a minute and just ask, what was the purpose of the failure? I get excited with failure now. I keep 100. Like when something doesn't work, I sit up like, oh, okay. You know
okay.
I mean?
Okay. That's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call.
It excites me. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, long I ain't trying to sleep on the couch and stuff with the wifey and stuff. I ain't talking about that kind of failure. But at the same time, when something doesn't work, I'm like, oh, I'm about to learn something.
Right. You get excited. You get excited,
You know what I mean?
instead of getting depressed, instead of getting down.
And
taking that moment.
And oftentimes when something fails, we so busy. Oh man, I'm embarrassed. I can't believe it failed. That we missed the point of the failure. We missed why it failed. We missed the learning lesson in it. So for me, I done failed enough. I done learned from it enough to now when things happen, when there's a setback, I'm like, I'm patient. If I'm gonna learn today or learn a week from now, I'm patient. The lesson's gonna come. It's gonna be there. So that's the main thing I would just tell everybody. This like this whole thing that's happening right now is not a movie and you're the leading character all by yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very important to know that and understand it.
It's a world thing. It's a world thing, and everybody's dealing with it, and everybody's getting their particular lesson and message out of it. You know, and their test out of it. You know, so I'm listening. I'm listening for what my lessons are, and I done learned a ton of them since March. You know what I mean?
I think we all have. I'll ask you this: what have been you talk about spending time with the family and teaching the kids how to ride a bike and spending time with the wife? What are some of the things that you, since being able to sit still and be quiet, that you learned that you didn't have the opportunity to learn because you were moving so much and being so productive in your craft?
Well, you know, the funny thing, we got 3 young kids here, so there ain't much quiet. It hasn't really been in the quiet, but you know, I think it's really just, for me, it's really applying the tools that I learned a long time ago on just balance and just really healthy perception. Because, you know, there's plenty of times now for where I might have an idea or want to work and it's not an option. It's not an option because all 3 kids are going in all 3 different directions. My wife might be working. It's just not an option. And you got to find peace in that. And there were times where it was a bit of a struggle. It's times of like, I see people rocking, doing certain things, and I can't do it because we got all this going on right now, you know,
which is a priority.
Which is a priority. And I love it too. So it's like, for me, you know, it's just getting back to, man, I have this thing where I say, enjoy the minute. And for me, like a chin check for myself, you know, like, so if I'm stressed or if like kids just jumping off the walls or whatever, and if I just remember to say, enjoy the minute, it's like a reset button for me. And it just reminds me that this minute is never coming back.
Right.
These people will never be this age again, this very second. Tomorrow, they're going to be one day older.
Right.
So even whether it's my wife or with my kids or whatever, if I can get to the remembering it, enjoy the minute, my food tastes better. The book I'm reading feels deeper. You know, I mean, every aspect. And that was a minute where I was like really, really reading. And I love to read. And I do have, like, obviously when I'm traveling, I have a lot of time to read.
Right.
Home, it hasn't really been as easy, but I was diving into some books and stuff like that again. And I just love that time. But for me, it's like, if I just remember to just enjoy the time. And you know, not to get super preachy, like the thing I just realized not too long ago, because somebody asked me about balance. Like, yo, how you balancing everything? And I was like, there's no balancing everything.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
You just do it.
You just do it. And really, balance, a person who has balance has a positive perception about the things they're doing during the time. It's not that I'm completely perfectly balancing my music with my kids. It's just when I'm with my kids, I feel good about being with my kids and I spend that time. And then if I got 1 hour to work on music, I'm not walking in there stressed, like, oh, I only got an hour. What am I going to do? I walk in there and I just rock out for as focused as I can for those 59 minutes I can be. That's balance.
That's balance.
You
That
know
is balance.
It's not that for 3 hours today, I'll definitely have this. And for 3 hours, I'll definitely have time with my kids. In 3 hours. No, it's not. Merry Christmas. If you could do that, Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Come try here with these kids. For me, it's about, yo, if I got 45 minutes to create music, then guess what? My head is down, my eyes are closed, I'm focused for them 45 minutes. And when the 45 minutes is up, I'm not like, I'm like, all right, what's next? And I got to be the same connected when I'm with the kids, same connected when I'm with the wife, same. That's balance. You know what I mean?
That's quality time, though, Eric. Like, I don't think people understand whether it's spending 5 minutes with your kids or 5 hours or a week. Quality time is quality time. Is what you do with that time in that amount of time. Like you said, if you have 45 minutes to create that 45 minutes. They're just so hungry that when you get another 20 minutes, or if you get that 45 minutes again, you are excited to have that moment again to kind of just dive right back in, right? Completely. Quality time is it, man. You're right. There is no balance. It's just trying to figure out how to take and do the best, putting your best foot forward with the quality time that you have.
Right.
I think that's it. So I appreciate you sharing that. I want to talk about, you're raising Black sons.
Yeah.
And we're at a time where the world is a little bit different. The world is a little unforgiving in certain circumstances. You talk about, you just did a song called Cancel 2020. And in that song, you talk about it's hunting season on everything Black. What are you teaching your boys as they are getting older day by day, and they may see some of these images on television, or they hear about these things either from their friends or on social media, about being a Black man in America and what that means?
So it's interesting because my oldest just turned 10 2 weeks ago, and then we have 8 and a 4-year-old, and they're all boys. And it's interesting because we got to figure out how best to talk about it. The 10-year-old, he's at that point now where he has questions and he's seeing things. I remember him coming up to us and asking about George Floyd. And that was a tough conversation. That was a very, very tough conversation because up to that point, police officers, he didn't think they could do wrong. And I said, yo, they're human. There's a lot of good police officers, but there's a lot of bad ones too. And you got to understand that. And I was like, his awakening of like, why would they be bad? Why would they do something? And then, okay, because of the color of my skin, they might do something bad. You know, there's a lesson in that, but I think it's just to be truthful. And I tell you, man, I don't think things are any crazier than they have been. I think we just have more media to talk about it. I mean, think about your childhood growing up. Dude, I had a gun in my face twice by cops growing up.
Couple times. A couple of times.
I've been yanked out of car as a kid. We've been followed home from school as kids. They followed us the whole way home. You know what I mean? So hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta plug this computer up. I'm looking. I should have did this when we started.
No, we good. This
Yeah,
is what I love about interviews, man. We just having fun. We just listen. We just in the moment. We just said it earlier. We in the moment. This is the balance.
We in the moment. What wouldn't work is if the whole thing just shut down. That's what it would work. But no. You know, we dealt with issues growing up. We dealt with racism. We dealt with cops treating us unfairly. You know what I'm saying? I think right now we just have more outlets to read about it, to write about it, to see about it. Obviously now when somebody pulls someone over, more times than not, people are taking cameras out to document it. You know, it's like, so
Right.
there's more of that. But I don't think I got to prepare my kids any more than my dad and my uncles had to prepare me, because it was real. It was real for us growing up. You know, I think just the conversation is up and is higher. And I think we're at another place now where we're more outspoken about change.
Right.
That really, if I'm saying anything's different from when I was 10 years old, and maybe our parents might have been, obviously we were just coming off of the civil rights movement. I feel like there wasn't as much, we weren't like defund the police. You know what I mean? There was still some outspokenness, but it wasn't as to the degree where it's at right now. So things are coming to a head. So tensions are a little tighter. But I'm like, show me where you at. You know what I'm saying? I got no problem with seeing where you at. So I know what you stand for, rather than you quietly moving chess pieces around me and stuff like that. So to answer your question, you know, I think the main part is really just making our kids understand who they are. We're not apologizing for anything that might come across the TV or any feelings we might have. I'm a proud Black man. My wife is a proud Black woman. We both went to Howard University. We both try our best.
You
know, right? So we sow back into our family. We sow back into our community. So it's like our kids have to know that. Our kids have to know that. So that's the main thing. You know, for me, I feel like my parents made sure I knew that, and it was still, unfortunately, a roll of dice when you stepped outside, you know, because you could be with your friend and your friend might be doing something wrong and it just put you in the wrong moment. So as well as I felt I handled myself as a kid, I still got in certain situations that my parents probably cringe about now. And I just pray my kids can avoid that, you know, as much as we can prepare. But I also hope that by the time my kids are 16, 17 years old, in the next 5-6 years, that there's some level of change, that we're investing more to the betterment. Obviously, I'm being enormously hopeful that presidential campaign debate last night doesn't really put much faith and hope in much. But, you know, at the same time, we having this conversation. So like the main thing, we can have this conversation. And I feel that at least my peers, my friends, we're in a better situation to provide for our kids than say our parents were to provide for us. You know what I mean? So, you know, just do our best, man. Just do our best and keep them educated.
As a HBCU grad,
you
know, I have family and friends who've gone to just about every HBCU, especially Howard. I want to talk about Howard because one of the things I've had the opportunity and privilege to go to homecoming year after year. And this year will be one that we will miss for not going to Howard homecoming. But for you, how was the experience? Because we've talked about it in our circles that when you go to Howard, not only are you learning Black culture, you're around Black culture, you're around Black people of color, but they teach you how to move around in the world amongst every other thing other than what you have been taught and learned. How important is it for us to educate and put our young people in the environments that we can teach them Black culture? Because we have to re-educate everyone. It's not just educating white people about Black culture and everything that we've done to advance technology and everything in the world, but just telling our kids, like, listen, this is who you are, this is where you came from, and walk tall, but understand that people are not going to understand your story. They're not going to want to hear your story.
Yeah.
But just as you walk, keep your head up. How important is it to go to a HBCU? For those who are like, well, I don't think you need to go to a black school to learn. But how important is it for you, even if your kids don't want to go? Like, how important is it for young people to at least try to want to have that experience?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I became a man at Howard, right? And they can say that in so many different levels, but sure, the education is incredible, but it's the added education that you gain from it. For example, as a person who went there doing music, I was a musical theater major. You're walking down hallways that Donny Hathaway walked down.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I had the same English teacher as Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack. That's like, there's other layers of certain things. And then, the Rodney King beating happened while I was at Howard. So if I was at Syracuse, sure, it might have affected me, and sure, I might be able to talk to my peers, but it affected me differently at Howard. There was a different kind of conversation. It was a different kind of conversation with my professors. And for me, just keeping it really 100, growing up, I might have had 2 black teachers, maybe my whole life growing up, and not like the whole 5th grade. I'm talking about like taught history in high school or something like that. And mind you, we had white professors at Howard, but it was something about being taught by black professors who challenged you, and you saw them exceeding in what they were doing as well. It's something about staying in dorm rooms named after black people who did certain things historically. You know what I'm saying? It's walking into buildings that are named after black people who did something historically. So it's not just the textbook. It's not just that, but I think it's just the camaraderie of, I think you're leaning more towards understanding there's a deeper purpose. There's a deeper responsibility. When you go to Howard, there's a responsibility.
Right.
Cats that came before you, they held up their part of the bargain. Look what they're doing in this world. So if you step in here, step your game up, because you got to be a part. You got to be a part of this legacy. You
added expectation. There's an expectation to do well.
Expectation, and you learn quick about that. You learn, I got to pick my pace up. Oh, I get it now. I gotta definitely. It's not just, doing well in school. I gotta excel here. I gotta take over this dorm room. I gotta join other organizations. I gotta bring music equipment in my dorm. Like, I had music equipment. We had a studio in our dorm room. We was working on when we was in class. We was working on music in the dorm room. So that when you hear about cats getting record deals at Howard or landing songs while we were at Howard, that's why, because we were working. You know what I'm saying? It was like, but it was also like challenging, and like, how do we go beyond this? So whether you want to go there for medicine, whether you go in there for political science, electrical engineering, or music or whatever, there's this undertone of like, learn what happened before you, check your peers, and like the camaraderie of that, the camaraderie, the family unit of that, where everywhere you go, there's somebody. And I can say the same that I see of people that went to FAMU,
right.
The people who went to Hampton, there's
Morgan State.
Morgan State. There's a connection. There's a, now we're here in Cleveland. It's like, I see you, you know what I'm saying? I see you. And it's like, there's a connection. So, I mean, I think it's really, really important. I learned so much about history, and purpose at Howard, and keep 100, man. I remember so many people coming to speak. I mean, just Felicia Rashad coming to speak. I remember we did a play to celebrate our 125th year with Denzel Washington, and it was crazy because Denzel came and killed the play. And really, we were just an ensemble piece. The group of us as an ensemble. The lunchtime, when we took a break, mind you, it was Morgan Freeman, Ruby D, Oscar, Ozzy and Ruby D. It was a ton of them.
Wow.
Denzel came and sat with the ensemble during lunch. Like, sat.
Legends.
Oh, yeah. And the conversation he had with us, I would never forget it. I would never, like, I held on to that. And he might give that at Yale. He might, you know what I'm saying? But
it hit different. It hits different.
It hit different, and I think, and I'm be honest with you, I think that conversation as a whole was different because we were at Howard. I think he came down to eat with the ensemble because it was at Howard, and he was like, "Yo, you know, there's an importance here to like give, to sow into these kids," and that's the thing, man. It was a phenomenal moment, and I think a lot of it, I always go back to saying Howard was special, also just by what was going on in those dorm rooms, what was going on in the yard. You know, you had so many phenomenal people, students coming from all over the world, and we were coming in to really each person to show you how dope they are,
right?
And
no matter where they came from, what walk of life.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about music and nothing like that. I'm just talking about in every aspect, whether that's, let's organize and let's form a group. Let's do this and, let's put together these meetings. Let's, whatever you're doing, it was like really sharpening and polishing everybody, up a lot. And I think that was enormously helpful for how I carry myself to this day. And I think if I went to Grambling or any other spot, it might have been different. We might be talking a different day, but we would be talking.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it would still built me up a great way. So I definitely encourage it. Just in general, higher education I encourage, but I think going to HBCU definitely helps you understand, dude. If we keep it really 100, there's so much of our history that's been erased.
Right.
Like the fact we can't trace back stuff as much as we want. Sure, I even took a DNA test and it was great to see who I was connected to and stuff like that. But there's still so much missing, right?
There's a lot of gaps. There's a lot of gaps in the story.
A lot of gaps in the story, and we have to be comfortable, or we have to find peace in that. So any place where someone can remind you of other parts, add in a little bit more of that gap, or show you how to be proud of even the parts that's missing.
Right. Take those opportunities.
You may not understand this, but you can stand tall in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Howard taught me, if I'm keeping it 100.
No, that's dope, man. I appreciate you even sharing that. You talked about having equipment in the dorm room. I want to talk about people that are trying to do anything, right? But I want to specifically talk about music, entertainment. There's that proverbial 10,000 hours, Eric, that people talk about, right?
Yeah.
And we know you to be not just an amazing recording artist, but a songwriter. You've written for everybody and sang background vocals, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Vivian Green. The list is amazing. It continues to go on if you know your history about Eric Roberson, for those who are watching and listening. When you talk about 10,000 hours, you talked about putting in the work, man. How much of it is work? Because I've been having this debate a lot lately with people. Oh, well, luck has a lot to do with it. And I'm like, yeah, luck has a part of it. But if you don't put that work in, Eric, I wholeheartedly believe if you don't put that work in, people get lucky only when opportunity is met with preparation.
Exactly.
And even then, if you don't put the work in, luck really has nothing to do with the work. But when you put the work in, favor follows you. And I think favor has more to do with the success than luck does. Because to me, if you ask anybody about luck, ask the gambler about luck, because luck comes and goes. But when you're blessed and you put the work in, I think luck has very little to do with it. But I want your perspective for those who are like, well, Eric Roberson got lucky. And not knowing that, you just said it, key. When you were in those dorm rooms, you were perfecting your craft so that you could be where you are today.
Yeah.
And not say, well, man, if I just get lucky, if I see somebody at homecoming, maybe they'll discover me. Like, no, you put the work in. But I want your perspective because I'm having these debates, man. So help me out.
Well, first, I mean, you got to put the work in. The work, I mean, I'm probably 10,000. We blew past that a long, long time ago, right? You know what I'm saying?
I've been past it 3 times already. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Equipment is power. I always tell everybody that. Like, so definitely, ownership can stop people from limiting you. So if you have equipment, you can work on stuff all you want to. So that's helpful. But with luck, we're all lucky in some form, fashion. And really, the best way I say luck is We all have windows of opportunity to show up all the time. And you got to make sure that you're aware of those opportunities when they come. And lucky is probably more about the fact that you were very aware of an opportunity that showed up. You know, now if you ain't got the work behind it, I don't know how long the opportunity will hold up. We know many people who got record deals, many people who had hit songs, but were they able to sustain it for a long period of time because they didn't have the work behind it? But it, I'm telling you, it goes back once again to that perception aspect too, because I know a ton of people who put in the 40,000 hours, but their mind ain't right and their heart ain't right. And if you're putting the 10,000 hours on how you see things as well, then it's for naught. We know people who got 3 Bentleys in the driveway and a 40,000 square foot home and ain't happy.
Right.
And ain't satisfied with what they've accomplished, right? It's I gave this analogy to my wife just recently. The dude on the end of the bench on the LA Lakers right now has a choice on how he sees the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he judges himself based off of LeBron James, how many minutes LeBron gets, how many cars LeBron has, LeBron James' salary, and how little minutes he has to play alongside LeBron James, his perception could really destroy him.
Right.
But at the same time, this guy made it out of the projects of North Carolina or wherever he might have came from. He actually still a multimillionaire because just the bare minimum salary of a multi-contract for the NBA will put you substantially, you know what I mean? He still has a nice car, still can buy a house for his mom, still can take care of his family. You know, his grandkids, if he's smart, will be taken care of. And it's how he looks at things will really define how healthy is his heart in that moment. Because truth be told, he's probably the one defending LeBron James at practice and making LeBron James stronger and more prepared during the game. So his worth is actually enormously important for that team.
Right.
But if he allows himself, he gonna be sitting at the end of the bench like, I don't even want that ring, man. I only put in 3 minutes this play. You know, if he allows it, right?
Right.
So there's always going to be somebody more successful. There's always going to be somebody who's going to have something popping in the moment, or somebody has but where's your heart? Where's your head at with all this? Because it's going to be ebb and flows. It's going to be up and down, especially this music business where things will be popping. And then somebody new comes along, and it's going to be popping, and it's going to get a little quiet for you. And then it might pop again. If somebody wants to say, I got lucky, dude, how many failed record deals did I go through?
You know? I could tell you, I went through 3 of them.
Exactly. So when people, in those moments, you have a choice.
Right.
You know, oh man, they dropped me. Obviously, this music must not be popping right. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna start cutting hair and just forget it. Never mind. And for me, it was like, all right, let me regroup and let me try again. Let me humble myself. When my first record deal fell apart, I went back to college. So I got signed my sophomore year at Howard. I had a song out while at Howard, a video out while at Howard. I went on tour with El DeBarge while being a student at Howard University. So think of how big my head must have been in that time. But think also when the deal fell apart and I went back to school and the song ain't playing no more. The video ain't playing no more. You know what I'm saying? The shows done quieted up. That was a humbling moment for me. That was tough.
It could be very humbling, E. I don't think people understand that because one minute, I'm in room service. We're on Electric Records. We're with Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, MC Light, Silk, and we're the number 1, number 2 record on every radio station across the country. Number 1 video sold. I'm a junior at Central Connecticut State.
Wow.
And then in one moment, everything is taken away and you're back walking those halls and you're back around the way and people are like, oh, what happened? It could be very humbling. And if you don't take that moment, like you said earlier, and just appreciate that minute that you're in and understand it wasn't being bad lucky that you got dropped, right?
It's the best thing ever happened to me.
It's the best. E. Say it again, Eric.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. In that moment, you're not going to know that. But once again, it's like, okay, let me humble myself. Let me regroup and let me shoot my shot again. You know what I mean? me shoot my shot again. And that's why, you know, and sure, we see the after effect. We see all the songs I was able to write and all that stuff, whatever, and the career I've been having, whatever. But it's like, you got to fight through it. You got to get through it. So it's like, really, to me, it's we got to put the work in, but your heart got to be in the right spot too.
In the right place.
Your heart got to be in the right spot. And I even say it this way, man. And, you know, if I'm really keeping it really, really 100, Marvin Gaye, I'll never be able to match musically, in my opinion, what this man has done. In 300 years from now, his music's still going to be here, right? When we are dust, his music will still be here. It's just, he just made that level of timeless music. But I done read every book I could possibly find on Marvin Gaye. I done seen every video, everything I could possibly study. I done studied this man because I love this man, right? And it's hard for me to find peace in him. He was not at peace.
No.
And I would not want to spend, and I'd be as respectful to the gay family as I could be right now in saying this. I would not want to spend one day in that man's shoes, one day in that man's life, one day feeling the way his heart felt. Not one day. And he had success.
Right.
He had timeless music, right? So it's not guaranteed. First of all, the success not guaranteed, the song success not guaranteed, and your heart ain't guaranteed. So guess what? The same way you putting them 10,000 hours on getting that swing on your drum machine and make sure the chords are right, and you writing a dope hook, make sure your heart is in the right place to recognize the rewards that you get and don't get.
Right.
Because truth be told, we all that kid on the end of that bench on that Lakers team, and you got a choice on how you see it. You got a choice on how you see it. And for me, I choose to look at my life as a success and an opportunity to provide better for my kids and prepare them better. Opportunity to even have an even better tomorrow, man. Like I'm always like, man, I done wrote some great songs, but I got some more great songs in me. You know, it's like I'm excited about it. I walk into the studio the same way I walked into it the first time when I was 17 years old. There's an excitement about it, and I got an opportunity to do this. So I got an opportunity to be a dad. Wow, that's dope. I got an opportunity to be a husband like my dad was. That's dope. You know what I mean? So it's just coming at the right angle.
Right.
You have setbacks musically. You don't have setbacks business wise. You know, if you start a business, that business is gonna have ebb and flows. You're going to get tight financially, whatever.
That's life.
Gotta have the right heart. You gotta have the right heart about it. That's it.
Now I love that, man. You just touched on a little bit of it, man. But I was gonna ask you, man, what motivates you, Eric? What motivates you at this point in time in your career and in life?
I think that's that perception and knowing I got 3 little guys watching me and learning. And I think the reminder is every time there's a little quiet moment, they'll do something and you see obviously where they got that from. You know what I'm saying? And I think just a responsibility for me. You know, I remember the days where I was asking, was this meant for me? When the music business was a little tougher, when the deals wasn't working, or tough meetings in New York, which we all dealt with at certain points.
Yeah.
And I remember on that drive home or that train ride back to Jersey going like, man, am I supposed to be doing this? I remember wanting to have what my parents had. And I remember, necessarily like relationships not working out, or just I was spread way too thin with touring and with music, or just trying to really get this to really focus and lock down and go, man, will I ever be able to provide or dive in? And to have that is a blessing for me. It gets me, that's really my motivation. And if I keep really 100, man, I wake up with songs in my head to this day. And I don't know if I'll tell you, I'm one who now looks back at my childhood, and if I was a kid today, they might label me with something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would have been right with you. I would have been right with you.
I listen to, and I don't want no disrespect to anything with any child is, or I see the ADHDs and stuff like that, and I'd be like, I probably would have been in some of those categories because, you know, when my teacher was writing on the chalkboard, the letters and the words and numbers, they were dancing on that chalkboard.
They look different.
It looked different, and it was like spaceships flying over my teacher's head sometimes. And I mean, and I just kind of like, I thought everybody saw it this way, like, you know, but my imagination and everything was just another level. And I was able to at least contain it enough to still be a good or decent student, right? But I think it plays into like my songwriting, it plays into my stage presence, it plays into all the aspects that make me who I am. So I'm a little more open with my kids to let them express certain things about them rather than trying to really navigate them down.
Stifle anything.
Yeah, like don't oh no, turn that sense off. Like keep all your senses. You know what I'm saying? Keep all your senses and understand there's a purpose behind it. But I think that's a lot of the reason why I'm motivated, because I think the same little crazy imagination stuff that was popping in my head when I was in 4th grade, I wake up with that. The difference now, when I wake up with that, I go to a keyboard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it benefits me. So, but I look at it today, man. I mean, man, they would have had 50,000 labels on me if I was a kid now.
Oh man, listen, I appreciate you sharing that, E. I've been playing this game, man, called University of Dope, man. I want to take this time to just tap into some of your love for hip hop. So unpopular opinions are welcome. We are having fun. And I will say this, I'm gonna start by saying you only have one opportunity to pass on any one of these questions. You only have one. We got about 9 of these, but you only have an opportunity to pass on one. So, but choose to have fun. Unpopular opinions are welcome. So, Eric Roberson, we're getting ready to play University of Dope. First question. Best Thug Love collaboration. Is it Always on Time, Ja Rule featuring Ashanti? You're All I Need, Method Man featuring Mary J? What's It Gonna Be, Busta Rhymes and Janet? Or Best of Me, Maya and Jay-Z?
B, You're All I Need, Method Man, Mary J. Blige. The matter of fact, best love song of all time. Unpopular opinion. Let's go.
You're stranded on a deserted island, but you can only listen to one album. What will it be? Black on Both Sides, Most Def? The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul, or The Chronic, Dr. Dre?
That's a tough one. It's a tough one. And mind you, I just listened to 3 Feet High and Rising. It's not going to be that, though. I loved it tremendously. It really helped shape me. The Chronic was phenomenal, but it would not be that. Shout out to Snoop Dogg. It's going to be between Black on Both Sides and Miseducation more because I might just need some female in my ear. But Black on Both Sides really for Miss Fat Booty? Just for that song alone. Black on Both Sides, Most Def. Final answer. Hey.
All right. If someone wanted to experience hip hop for the first time, what album would you give them? A, Low End Theory, A Tribe Called Quest. B, Enter the Wu-Tang Clan. C, Straight Outta Compton, NWA. Or D, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim.
That's tough because all 4 of those are monsters. I got to go with the Low End Theory, Tribe Called Quest.
Man, Bob Powers is dope on that album.
Yes, sir.
Best song dedicated to your moms, Miss Jackson, Outkast, Hey Mama, Kanye West, All I Got Is You, Ghostface Killer, or Dear Mama, Tupac?
It won't be Dear Mama, Tupac. It's a great song, but he a little hard on Mom in that a couple of spots. It'd be Hey Mama, Kanye West, honorable mention C, All I Got Is You, Ghostface Killer.
All right. Stay in your lane. Stop trying to sing. A, Wyclef. B, Lil Wayne. C, Ja Rule. Or D, Drake?
C, Ja Rule, man. I hate he gets such a bad rap, but C, Ja Rule.
One gotta go, Eric Roberson. Who would it have to be?
Oh my God.
Black Thought, Most Def, Common, or Talib Kweli?
Can't be Black Thought because then we wouldn't have the Roots.
I like how you think, Eric. I like how you think. Go ahead, break it down, bro.
Come on. The tough part is that if I don't have Talib Kweli, then we don't have Black Star. I can't get rid of Common. Talib Kweli. Godly, sorry, Talib. D, Talib Kweli.
I love Talib. Ain't no
Shout out to the brother.
Best Jay-Z album: Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, or 444?
Whew, I'm gonna go for 444. I'm gonna go. I was gonna say reasonable doubt, and then the blueprint. That's tough. That's tough with AB. But you know, there's some grown man growth on 444. I just appreciate. I feel that he's unlocking the ability for hip hop rappers to feel like they can be rappers for the rest of their lives. I think we're gonna have a 60-year-old rapper because of 444. Like, let's talk some grown man stuff. So
It might be Jay. It might be Jay.
Yeah.
If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? A, LL Cool J, B, Rakim, C, KRS-One, or D, Big Daddy Kane?
Super unpopular opinion. Now, first of all, I just listened to Mama Said Knock You Out. LL is in my top 5. He's a beat top 10 for sure. Rakim's in my all right. All these guys are in my top 10 first and foremost. But if I'm saying how they sound right now, I'm keeping really, really 100. God bless you, LL. I'm taking out A. I'm taking out B, the God. I'm sorry. He definitely for what he did, but we talking about right now. You said right now.
Right now. If they were on the same track right now.
Coming down to KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane, I think KRS-One is going to try to be too deep and too magical. I'm going with Big Daddy Kane is going coming with that swag still blow everybody. He's going to come out on top. Big Daddy Kane, D, final answer.
All right. Stay Woke. The best politically conscious song. A, Fight the Power, Public Enemy. B, F the Police, NWA. C, Hip Hop, Dead Prez. Or D, My President, Jeezy?
All 40s are solid, but you know, B, C, and D would not be made if not for A. A, Fight the Power, Public Enemy.
All right.
All that.
Erase one person from hip hop history. Who would it be? Nas, Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, or Jay-Z?
Pass. You think I can pass on one? Pass.
That was your last one. That was your last one, Eric Roberson. Thank you for playing University of Dope with me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Music is a soundtrack to our lives. What song best represents your journey up to this point? Or what artist best represents your journey up to this point?
The artist, in my opinion, who best represents my journey, I feel like is Bill Withers. His dedication to his pen, his family, and not really being beat about it. Like if I woke up one day and didn't feel anymore, I stopped. But he seemed like he was never here for anything but putting out the best music he could put out. And the moment I think that he felt like he couldn't put out his best music, he was like, I'm good. But he wasn't here for like, I need the money, I want the fame, I need to be with the it crowd. I think he was just like, yo, he did an album called Still Bill. Yo, I'm Still Bill. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The song is tough. I would say a song for you, Donny Hathaway, keeps popping in my head. You know, his birthday's tomorrow. So a song for you, for all we know. It's something in that realm. But yeah, I mean, and then, really what pops in my head is a song called Love Isn't Love. Love's in need of love. Wait. Love isn't love. Commission. I can tell you how I feel for you and all the things that I could do to show you the love I have is true. That song is more like it's more like just showing love, Love's in need of love. I'm saying the wrong name of the song. It's like one of my favorite songs. I'm saying the wrong title, but a song by Commission off of Go Tell Somebody album. Everybody killing me right now, but you know what song I'm talking. Look, song number 4 on Go Tell Somebody. I know the whole thing outside of the title.
The track number and everything.
I give you track number and everything, but I keep wanting to say Love's in need, but that's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's yeah.
Man, I gotta sing the whole song to find the title. It's all good, but that would be the song for Commission Go Tell Somebody album. That's
dope, man. You had a great love for Chadwick Boseman, who passed away recently, and your birthday was just a couple days ago. So happy belated birthday to you. if the love that you have for that brother and everything that he done, is there a word or something that you could tell somebody right now to encourage them, to tell somebody that they love them while they're here on earth, man, that we don't get the opportunity, as you lost a brother and we all lost someone who was near and dear to us in film and television. What do you say to that person today, man, to encourage them to make sure that they show love when needed?
Appreciate the power of now. Now is a powerful word. And if we get into the attitude of now, like just in the fact that don't wait to say, I love you. Like let's do it now. Call somebody now. Don't wait till later. Like just if you get into the habit and the spirit of now, one, it also becomes contagious. You know, it's like, it's the same way as giving. Giving is a very beautiful word, but if you apply it and really keep it in the forefront, it becomes contagious. So I think a lot, and mind you, I say this as a person who definitely procrastinates. I definitely put things off. But when I get in the spirit of now, I'm in my greatest place.
Mm.
You know, I'm in my greatest place of like, and I know of certain people, man. Shout out to man, his brother Bill Brown used to work at ASCAP. Was so good at that. He was like, if he was in a meeting, he was like, yo, you know, you need to meet June. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call June right now. And he stop the meeting right there. He gonna call. Matter of fact, I'm sending you to his office right now. Yo, June, I'm sending Eric Roberson there right now. Like he was a now person. And I always aspired to be that way. You know, my brother Oshunlade, a great producer, was that way too. You know, if you grabbed the book off his bookshelf and was like, yo, that's really dope, he'd be like, take it now. I want you to read it now. Like it's not more. Like once you connected to it, it's yours. Like it's very contagious. You can't walk out of Bill Brown's office or Oshunlade's studio and not be giving in the next 2 hours at that, because that spirit is on you now.
It's on you. It's on you. It's in you.
So yeah, so when you walked into Starbucks that night, you probably buying somebody a coffee when you walked in Starbucks. That's how contagious that is. So I would just say getting the power now. You know, I think if we even talk about Chad, which I didn't know he was sick, I think he probably knew that they did exhausted every opportunity they could. Now at this point, what seeds do I plant now? What do I leave? What do I add to this legacy? And even while the man was healthy, I mean, he was like, dope. He played Thurgood Marshall, man. You know what I'm saying? Jackie Robinson. It's like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? It's
James
like
Brown.
James Brown. I mean, we could keep going, right?
We can keep going, man.
Keep going. It's like his choices. You know, it was a really honor, pleasure just to know him and see him grow and become successful. See his work and his heart pay off. But the main thing I would just tell you right now, and where we, you know, tomorrow's not certain for any of us, is really getting into that spirit of now, man. If you feel something, man, I started reading this book the other day, and I apologize because I'm horrible with titles. I couldn't tell you three, and like the Cosby Show, I couldn't tell you three people outside of Felicia Rashad and you know, Claire. I couldn't name. I'm just horrible with titles. Anyway, I'm reading this book. I think it's called like Uncommon Conversations with God or something like that. And the guy's having a conversation with God, and God says, he says, so do you talk to us all the time? He said, I don't like to use the word talk. God said, I don't like to use the word talk because words are the weakest form of communication. He said, sometimes I communicate with you through feeling. So next time you get a feeling to call your grandmother, recognize that there's a good chance that's God tap you, say, yo, get into the spirit of now. Next time your homie comes in your mind, call that homie and check on him, because that's that spirit of now. That's that spirit of now. So that's what I would just tell everybody is that, you know, in all our craziness and all of us trying to balance and, you know, and try to, you know, keep our stuff going, there's this spirit of like these nudges. And sometimes that nudge is going to the pantry getting an Oreo, but also it's like call your homies, you know,
right.
or check in on you, you know, get past, you know, the surface stuff and just dig a little deep. Yo, how are you? You know, really how you doing? You know, you need anything? You know, my boy, I know I'm throwing a lot of quotes out. My boy DJ Mosky, amazing DJ in Cali. He says, "Be what you need." That changed my life. He told me that like 2 months ago.
Wow.
He said, yo, I needed this. So I started being that so I could get it. He said, be what you need, you know.
Game
So
changer. Game
game.
changer.
I was like, as soon as he said, I was like, I got it. Understood. You know what I mean? And that's the spirit we in right now. That's the spirit we in right now. So in the moment you need something, recognize that you could be like, I need this. What are you being it?
Right.
If you need an ear to understand, are you being an ear? You know what I'm saying? If you need somebody to help you out financially, are you donating? Are you giving to someone else? Like it's like if it's the spirit of it. So it's like getting that spirit of now, like you'll be surprised how much you'll be rewarded back if you kind of connect into just the natural feeling what we get of like reach out, do this, you know, call, you know, or anything. So that would be the thing, man. This ain't the time to wait to tell anybody you love them. This is not the time. This is not the time, because that the very next day you could be in a hospital or they could be in a hospital on a ventilator. And at that point you can't, nobody's saying nothing.
At all. At all.
So let's just get in the spirit of now, man. Like and let's stay on it. Like, cause as fast as I say it, I might be in the spirit right now. 2 hours later, I'm not. So like,
right.
You know, it's like the more we're reminding each other of it, the more I can remember to say enjoy the minute, the more I can stay in that spirit. You know, so that's the thing. I'm just working on trying to stay healthy that way.
Man, Eric, thank you so much, man, for your time. I know you are busy. I know there got to be a hat line coming out, because I need one of those hats that's hanging up on the back. Because I know my man DJ Ron and DJ Dana Dane will love these hats. They are hat collectors.
Oh,
so we got to talk about this hat collection next time. But as Eric said, man, be what you need. Be in the moment. His new album, his latest album, Here From Here, is out. Cancel 2020 is out. Pick it up. Follow him. Love him. Pray for him. His family. Let's keep showing him love, because it's not easy being an independent artist out here in the world. But I promise you, he will continue to feed us and show us love through his music. So Eric, we love you, man. We're going to keep doing what we're doing to support what you're doing. Thank y'all for checking out the Winner Circle Motivate You here on thisis50.com. Your host, June Archer. Keep it locked right here. Eric, don't go nowhere, man.
No doubt.
Y'all be good.